You may not be aware, because things have slowed down in the hate speech push now that we've had a change of government. But it's interesting, the government hasn't completely abandoned the wokeness of trying to redefine and curb our free speech in New Zealand. And indeed, the Law Commission has just released terms of reference for a review of potential hate crime laws. And I do not know why, because I was under the clear impression the government had said, stop this rubbish. We don't need to do this. We've disestablished a whole lot of groups who were making lots of money off this grift. But still, it seems the Law Commission and the wokesters in the Law Commission are committed to curbing your freedom of speech. And they've just released their terms of reference for a review of hate crime laws. And one group that protects free speech in this country is, of course, our friends at the Free Speech Union. They've had a look at these terms of reference and they have some concerns. So we're joined now by Jonathan Ayling, leader of the Free Speech Union. Jonathan, firstly, have I got the context of this right? There is going to be a review of hate crimes in New Zealand and the Law Commission is going to do it.
Yes, that's exactly correct, Sean. And at the moment in New Zealand, hate crime does not exist as a category in our law. And you're right, this sits within a series of reviews that the Law Commission has been asked to do over the past couple of years. What's different about this review, Sean, and I think more problematic, is the fact that under the Labour government, the previous Labour government, it was the Law Commission that was asked to review our hate speech laws. It was the previous Labour government, it was Justice Minister Kerry Tapualan, who asked them to consider whether misgendering and dead naming should perhaps become protected under the Human Rights Act and such. So that was all what we had kind of expected from the previous lot. This review of hate crimes has actually been initiated by Paul Goldsmith and the national-led government. And the basic premise, I think, of our perspective is that if Paul Goldsmith asks stupid questions, he's going to get dumb answers. And I have no idea really why he's the one initiating a review of this process where you ask these people, do we think the government and do we think the law should stamp out hate and stop all those horrible people out there? Well, of course they're going to say yes. Look at what's happened in Canada. Look at what's happened in Scotland and parts of the UK. Of course they're going to come up and say, yes, hate is a horrible thing and the government needs to busy itself with it and get police involved. Of course hate is a horrible thing. And we as a society...
But it exists. It's a human emotion. You're never going to outlaw it.
You simply cannot use law as a way to eradicate this. And at times, hate of some ideas is actually not only acceptable, but a good thing. There are some ideas that in a free, liberal, democratic society, we should hate. And so what we see more and more, where governments are looking to use legislation and law and, of course, ultimately the force of police to stamp out hate, they are actually talking about opinions that are not hateful. They're just talking about opinions that some people disagree with.
That the woke left disagree with.
Or they are talking. There is an increase in what could be considered legitimate bigotry as well in parts of our society. I don't think by any means it's as rampant as some would have us believe. But there are some people who have extreme bigoted views. The way to address them, though, is not to try and use the law to quash them. That won't work. It'll actually make things worse.
Yeah. Jonathan, is there anything specific in these terms of reference that really has your blood boiling?
Look, terms of reference are a fairly pro forma, run-of-the-mill type thing. There's nothing in the terms of reference beyond what we understood was already coming, that the Law Commission would be conducting this review and that the Minister of Justice had asked them to do it, that they're looking at hate motivations and that they won't specifically be looking at the hate speech laws per se. So we'll give credit where credit is due and say Paul Goldsmith has said that he won't be considering hate speech laws, which sit in our Human Rights Act under Section 61 and 131. That's fantastic. But it's unclear exactly what he hopes to achieve by initiating this review. His excuse, and I think that's all it was with the previous review that the Law Commission has just done public consultation on, where they're looking at including transgender, intersex and non-binary individuals with protections under the Human Rights Act. And this is what we're saying could very easily lead to making it unlawful to dead name someone when you use a previous first name that they had, which they don't identify anymore, or misgendering, where you misuse their pronoun.